This live training, we're going over how to withdraw money from your account without hurting your bot's performance. This is a great question, right? So we've talked about in these mini trainings so far, how to diagnose what a bot is doing and how to know where to tweak things to improve it. Then we talked about how to scale the account. Now, once you're at retirement or ready to retire or ready to start pulling funds from the account, how do we actually do that? And so here's the process that I follow. Now, if you're in the FIRE movement, which stands for Financial Independence Retire Early, FIRE being an acronym, FIRE, there's a study that everyone references called the Trinity Study. This Trinity Study was done by Trinity University, which showed how much money can somebody in retirement pull from their account every single year and live on that money forever. AKA, they don't run out of money. Now, if we're looking at this chart here, this is exactly what they looked at. Okay. So what we're seeing here is this shows the success rate, which means how likely they can keep withdrawing money and live forever. AKA, they never run out of money, at least for over 20 years. And again, it can go on 30, 40, whatever. But you can see here, if they withdraw 3% of their account every year, they have virtually a 100% win rate, AKA they're never going to run out of money, at least over 20 years. Now, when you extrapolate that over the 30 and 40 years, it tends to be still around that 100% range. If you look at those numbers, if you just have your money invested in the overall market, the S&P 500, you can withdraw 3% of your accounts every year and not run out of money in retirement, which is great. You can also go up to 4%, you can go up to 5%, and then your win rate starts to go down 6% further, 7% further. If you're withdrawing 8%, 9%, 10%, no wonder your win rate drops, because that's literally the amount of money the market makes or more every year. So again, that's why you're having these issues. But it shows that a 4% is a safe withdrawal rate, aka you can withdraw 4% of your money every single year and you won't run out, at least over 20 years. Again, that's been extrapolated over 30, 40, 50 years, and it shows the same thing. So what does this mean for us? What I've drawn from this is that you do not, first off, do not withdraw funds until you have to. The goal is to grow this account, make it as large as possible, and then you'll have to withdraw as little as possible later so that you can actually live off of it. So again, obviously, if you can, plow all your profits back into trades, back into the account, scaling your bots, like I just mentioned. When you have profits, pour it back in by increasing the frequency, increasing contracts, increasing bots, then increasing diversification. Once you do that, once you scale, once you're ready to withdraw, you should be able to withdraw 50% of your average annual return without running out of money, even in bear markets. So what do I mean by this? The Trinity study, this is again my own takeaway. Doesn't mean this is how it works. I have not run my own data test on this. Although I'm good at math, I'm not the mathematician experts at Trinity University. But what I saw is that the market averages an 8% return a year. And they were able to withdraw 4% of that in perpetuity and retirement and not run out of money. So what is that? That's 50% of your annual return. So if you have 3, 4, 5 years of annual return history where you go, okay, I know that over the last 3 years or so, on average, my bots make me 20% return a year. Okay, cool. That means I can probably withdraw 50% of that and still not run out of money, aka my account will just continue to grow or at least stay stagnant, and it's going to be fine because I can just continually withdraw 10% every year, right? So it's going to look at you having the data over 3, 4, 5 years showing what is your average return, and you should be able to withdraw 50% of your average annual return every year without running out of money. So that is kind of what the goal is. Now, if you're like, I don't want money left over, I don't want to be safe, I just want to go crazy, then you can technically try to withdraw your average annual return. Why? Because that's actually the money you made. And so then you'll only withdraw the money you made. So technically your account balance will be fine. Not ideal, but it's one way to do it. Okay. So let's look at an example. Have you have a $500,000 account at retirement? You've been growing it. You've been doing whatever. Now you're at 500 grand. Now, some of you may have more, some of you may have less. I try to do 500 grand. It sounds like something doable. Now, let's say we have averaged over the last 3, 4, 5 years, a 20% average annual return. If that's the case, then in my opinion, you can have roughly a safe withdrawal rate of 10% a year. AKA whatever the account balance is at the end of the year, you take out 10% of it. Or if you want to do it every month, right? That'd be like what, 0.8 or something percent, right? You would take out 0.8% of the account value every single month, and that would be your monthly withdrawal rate. But let's look at it for a year just for easy math. 10% a year would be withdrawn. So you could withdraw $50,000 a year, and that would be a very safe withdrawal rate, as in your account balance would still be there. It would survive. Your account would either plateau or grow depending on the market, and you would still have that $500,000 there for your kids, for your family, whatever you want to use it for. Or if you happen to live longer than you thought, well, you still have all the money there. You're not pulling from that account. Now, if you want a risky withdrawal rate, you want to live up retirement, then you can use your whole profit that you make every year, 100 grand. Again, this gives you no safety cushion for if the market does drop, you have bad losses. Again, this one allows you to have a 10% cushion in profits to allow the account to be fine. So it would be more risky, but you can do that as well. Now, obviously, I push everyone for a safe withdrawal rate. So basically, run these bots, optimize for 3 to 5 years, find your consistent annual return at half that, and that would be your number. Now, what we've seen for people, what I've seen for people, myself, and stuff like that, is again, we can go anywhere from 20 to 30% return per year fairly consistently. Again, seen some months, some years, some months, as high as 50%, some as low as 5 or maybe minus 10, whatever, right? But averaging around that 20 to 30% range. And so if that's true, you can be around a 10 to 15% a year withdrawal rate, which turns out to about a 1% withdrawal rate per month. And so again, just doing the math there, but understanding your own numbers is the best way to do that. Now, we'll jump into Q&A. Again, I'm not giving advice here. Do what you want. I'm just showing you what others have done, what I think might be reasonable, and what you can do from there. Let's open up the Q&A and see some questions coming out. Okay. David says, I've always heard the result 4% rule, never seen the study. Great. Yep. 4% rule works great. And basically it's 50% of the mark. Okay. David says the market does average 8% a year, but Harley never does an 8% a year. It does way more, like 22%, and then maybe down minus 3%. Exactly. Yeah. So 8% is the average. So again, that's why you take the average and they do it, which is why if we're looking at our returns over 3 to 5 years, maybe we have a 30% return, a 50% return, a 10% return, then minus 10% return. We didn't average 20% every single year, but what we did was over those 4 years combined, we averaged a 20% return. And so we would have taken half of that as our retirement pool. And again, that would still leave plenty of money there, right? Because in a 30% account growth year, we would have left 20% there. And then in a year where we lost 10%, then we would have lost 10, we would have withdrew 10, so we would have been down minus 20%. Just like that, now we have the good month, the good year to offset it. So again, nothing ever does the same every single year, but it's looking at the law of large numbers, which is over 3 to 5 years. What has my average win rate been between good years, bad years, whatever? Use that average number, half it, and that's what you can use as your withdrawal rate, where you can withdraw that amount without actually hurting your underlying account balance.